Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. And as if you didn't know, our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. Get your fingers ready to dial. We're going to run some really cool stuff today. Some of it is Arizona only. Some of it, Colorado only. All of it, awesome. And, of course, we'll have some for everybody. Yeah, so it's going to be one of those days. We're going to, for those of you that aren't in Phoenix or Arizona, well, you know what? Let me rephrase. I take it back. It's for everything will be for everybody, but a couple of the items, if you're not picking it up in the appropriate place, you'll have to pay for the shipping. So, people in Colorado, I'm not going to ship it to Jason for you to pick it up there. How's that? Or I will, but you'll have to pay for it. Does that make sense? And vice versa. If you Arizona folks want something from Colorado and you want to pick it up here, you still got to pay for the shipping because it's silver and it's heavy and it costs a lot of money. So, and it's going to be a great price as always. Everything we do here is awesome because I said so, and it must be true if I said it because I'm on the radio and I got a website. So, right? You know, so yesterday I was listening to Brian and Jason. And for those of you that don't know, I own 1360 KHNC in Johnstown, Colorado. I own that radio station. We had been on that radio station since the early 90s, before Patriot was even a company, believe it or not. And Sharon and I were able to reach an agreement, and I now own that radio station. And Jason and Brian are my partners in the gold business, and they run the Colorado office. And really, the two of them run the radio station as well. And they have their own show, the Front Range News Hour. And I know a lot of you out there listen to that show. A lot of you, especially a lot of Arizonans, listen to that radio station. There's not a station like it anywhere in the country. There really isn't. I mean, yes, we have Brian Kilmeade. We also have Alex Jones, and we also have Larry Elder. And then we have our open forum guys. Got me. We got Jason and Brian. We got Leah. I mean, we've got a lot of great program. Bradley Dean, he comes on after Larry Elder. He's fantastic. But we got a lot of great program that you don't really get other places. But I'm listening. And I'm listening to Brian and Jason, and they start making fun of me because yesterday I was telling you about the CBD products which have been helping me, and I was telling you about my bowling. Bowling 3 games and they were mocking me as like a bowling. That doesn't hurt anything. And so I issue this challenge to you out there. Now I know you younger whippersnappers, right? You guys are probably fine, but if you're over the age of 50, go out and bowl 3 games and tell me how you feel. That's all I'm saying. Got the big pickleball matchup tonight. It's going to be a good one tonight. We got a big turnout for pickleball coming tonight. But our CBD products that we sell through My Kind, they're absolutely the best of the best. But again, and I've said it a million times. You know what? If you groan getting up off the couch, right? Order the tincture. It's so simple. It's the 1,000 milligram tincture. It's a little glass bottle. It's got a dropper. right? I just take a dropper full. I have it right where my keys and my wallet are in the morning. Put it under my tongue. Boom, boom. Walk out the door. Drive to work. And it just, you know what? For me anyway, it takes away. Hey, listen, I've got a knee that needs to be replaced. It's not fixing it, but I'm not having to down, 8, 10, 12 Advil a day. I can go out and bowl and play pickleball and go golf and do all those things and have it not be a big deal. I could golf 2 days in a row. I could if I wanted to. I'm not. I don't, but I could. But yeah, they were poking fun. Listen, I'm telling you right now. Not that I don't get me wrong. I don't think you can lose any weight bowling, especially if you're drinking pitchers of beer while you bowl, okay, like we do. But try them out. And just a quick note: we've had a lot of requests for us to carry the CBD products in our offices, both here in Phoenix and in Colorado. So we're going to make that happen. In the next week or so, we'll have product available to be picked up at both our Johnstown and our Phoenix office if you want to do that. But it's so easy. Go on the web. I know how you guys all know how to do it now. This is the world we live in. Go out there, order one of the products. I've tried every one of them. I've tried. Well, the pet tincture, I haven't tried it, but my dogs have. They're fantastic. Patriot Radio News Hour, 1360khnc.com. Hit the shop button. And Brian and Jason, you go both 3 games and tell me how you feel next. Yeah. Let's face it, we're getting old. I used the word whippersnapper. I'm talking about bowling and pickleball. Yeah, you're old. Pickleball's great. I know I've said it. I've had a few people email, hey, I think I'm going to try it. It's perfect. We have a lot of fun doing it too, and it's easy. It's not common. There's only like 2 rules in the whole thing. I mean, anybody can do it. So just grab yourself some CBD before you do it. You won't be a mess the next day. First time jobless claims. It's a Thursday. This one actually surprised me. Well, it rose last week to 793,000. And then they went back to the week before and rose that one even more. I'm so distracted. All right, sorry about that. I'm trying to do 4 things at once. So 793,000 people filed for jobless claims for the first time last week, but the number from last week was revised upward by a lot. It was 812,000. So the thing that really was big, though, was continuing claims. Okay, so this is people that are on what I'll call standard unemployment. So once you hit unemployment, you get, most states, 26 weeks. 26 weeks before you fall off. Okay, and there's certain rules that I think they make you apply. You have to apply for a certain number of jobs, so on and so forth. But you get 26 weeks. That number fell, not much, but it fell about 145,000 to 4.54 million. Now, that's the lowest since March 21st. That number normally before that was like 1.2 million, something like that. So pre-COVID, about 1.2, down to 4.5. Now, that sounded really good until they included all the people that have already used the 26 weeks. And this number jumped a lot by millions, almost 3 million people increase. And it all had to do with, remember the stimulus and Donald Trump before Christmas, he wanted to try to get a $2,000 check, couldn't get it done, and so he signed it because they waited till the last second. A lot of people lost those benefits, are now back on. The number of people really filing for unemployment benefits, 20.44 million. And, of course, I guess at this point, I'm like, I'm 50. I'm 50 years old. Just tell me the truth, right? I mean, isn't that what all of us really want? At the end of the day, I've got 2 boys, great kids. But like everybody else, you try to get away with things and you try to raise them right. And, hey, we just tell us the truth, what happened, right? And if they do that, by and large, you're like, okay, yeah, I can deal with it. We can deal with it. And I sit here every day. And we go over this number and that number, and of course it's all over the stock channels and on websites and the nightly news, and they're trying to spit out numbers that simply aren't true. And of course we know this. We look at all the shenanigans with the election, and we look at the things that are happening on Twitter and Facebook and this and that. You don't know what to believe. You just don't know. And I was sitting there, how can you go out with a straight face and tell everyone, hey, there's 4 million people unemployed when you know the actual number's 20 million? That's what I want to know. And it doesn't matter. I mean, this is just one example. I mean, when are we going to get there? And I don't think we ever will. I'm watching, and you know what? I can't even watch it. But the whole impeachment thing with Trump, and it's so ridiculous. Right? Everybody coming up there, and on both sides, with half-truths and all, drama and hearsay and this and that. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. But are we ever going to get there? I listened to our Treasury Secretary, Jay Powell, yesterday. He was at the Economic Club in New York. And I'm a firm believer that if we truly, truly had this capitalist society, you would not see the head of our Federal Reserve at any club. And when it deals with, now, I'm not talking about a golf course or something. You can do that, but you know what I'm saying. If we truly wanted that to be, the Federal Reserve would meet in private, evaluate the actual data, not the fake data, and make decisions. We wouldn't have these bubbles if they did that. They used to do that, But now they've decided that their best strategy is to what? Enrich billionaires. That's their strategy. Make no mistake about it. Cause bubbles, pretend that you profit from these bubbles, and then wipe you all out. I mean, right, we've seen it. And then rinse and repeat as needed, right? Like a bottle of shampoo. And this is just another one of the examples. So I'm listening to Jay Powell yesterday, and you should have heard him talking about the need for the government to spend all this money. Listen, they're convinced. They're convinced that the only way to fix it is to hand out money. Now, let me ask you something. Just real quick. Well, you're debating whether or not you need to put some gold and silver away, okay? Do you believe that? Do you believe the best way to deliver the best of the best is to give out free money and rinse and repeat as needed? Show me one example where that actually has worked. Show me any example where rewarding failure works. Show me any example where less police works, right? It doesn't. But yet here we are. Show me any example of not having kids in school is better. Can't do it, but yet here we are. Show me any example where forcing businesses to close makes things better. Can't do it. But yet, here we are. And you somehow think we're going to have this economic salvation? And I was watching him speak at this economics club where if you're not a billionaire, don't bother coming. And he was saying about all the work that they had to do, and they stand at the ready, and yes, we're going to keep interest rates low, and we're going to keep buying bonds forever and ever and ever. I didn't say that, but he might as well have. Wouldn't it be great if we could strap them up to the lie detector? You know, all of us have something, you know, small that we take pleasure in, but we don't like other people to know it, right? You know what I'm talking about. For me, one of those things, and some of us have more than one, and I'm not talking about drugs and alcohol, but just little things in your life that just make you happy, that no one else really needs to know about. I've got one of those. I like Maury Povich. And is he the father or is he not the father? I love it, right? I'm always at work, so I don't get to see it, but I love to watch it. When it's on, I just get happy. Right? And they get the results, right? And they get the lie detector out. You said, we asked you if you've ever had sexual relations with somebody other than your wife. You said no. A lie detector said that was a lie. Wouldn't it be great if we could have Jay Powell or Nancy Pelosi or little Chuckie Schumer, Janet Yellen, and just strap them up to the lie detector? Just strap them up. Do you really believe this? Well, no. Right? Oh, yes, we can hand out checks to everybody forever. There'll be no damage done to the economy. Of course, remember, too, we can't do this to the kids and the grandkids. How about we need to balance the budget, right? We don't hear any of that anymore. Apparently. Well, of course, I think it was like 5 years ago, maybe 10, where I started telling all of you, hey, if you're listening, right, if you're not dead yet, yeah, you're the kids and grandkids. We're it. We're it. But who wouldn't want to see that? Right? Can we get back to the truth? And the reality is, the truth really is, you cannot create money out of thin air and call it prosperity. Because you know what it really ends up doing is what we're seeing right now. the money always ends up with the few. And the greatest thing about America was the middle class. That was the best thing. It was. You could come here, be born here, and if you worked hard, you could have, the wife, couple of kids, the dog, the white picket fence. You could live the American dream. Think where we are now. We went from just in one generation, just go back to when they finally closed the gold window and the bankers really took over. 1971. I was 1 year old. I think it was the day. I think they closed the gold window on August 15th, the day before I turned 1. Used to be one parent worked, the other one stayed home. And now it's like everybody in the house better have a job or you can't get it done. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back with some great buying opportunities. Yes, ma'am. 800-951-0592. Oh, Brooke cracked me up. She goes, never in a million years did I think you're going to say Maury Povich. Well, there you go. Now you know something about me. The purchasing power of the dollar. The government has all the numbers. They do. Jay Powell has them. Janet Yellen has them. They've got them all. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, they're in charge of the Consumer Price Index. That got released yesterday. That's the fake inflation gauge, by the way. In case you wanted to know, this is another fake number. Okay, because they just make it up. I'll give you a great story. My oldest son, who is on his way to becoming a finance. He's a finance major. He's actually here in the next few weeks. We'll have his financial planner license. He's going to have a Series 6 and Series 7's license. He's got his internship with Northwestern Mutual. I told you the other day, me and Sarah gave him some money to manage for us. I mean, he's off to an okay start. He's already doubled it. Not too bad. He's a pretty smart kid, and I give that credit to my wife. He's a pretty good looking kid too. Again, my wife. He's very stubborn at times. He got that from me, but he, as part in one of his classes for his major, they took them to his class to the Chicago Federal Reserve, the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. And during the tour, they had, whoever the Fed had somebody given the tour, and they actually did a whole thing on inflation. And I was just so geeked up, right? I'm like, oh my God, how awesome was it? He's like, Dad, it was dumb. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, it makes no sense. He goes, the price of something goes up. And yet he starts just talking a bunch of nonsense, and somehow inflation goes down. Can't make it up. Literally what he said. He goes, he just was insulting our intelligence. And he goes, and everybody in the class was like, oh, okay. And he's like, what are you talking about? Well, this is the Consumer Price Index. They're supposed to track inflation for me and you. Right? That's what consumer price means, right? For us. And of course, They make it up. They change the data so it looks less than what it is. But even with the fake data, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the purchasing power of the dollar hit a new all-time low in January. This was a January number. And they have this chart. And this chart goes back to the start of the financial crisis. And, 07, 08, it's got this big downdraft. And it goes from 48 to 45 and 3/4. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. But it just says, hey, purchasing power is less. Okay? Then it shows a spike back up in 2009, all the QE and the bailouts. And it gets to about 47 and a half. Okay? But from 09 to today, it's not a straight line down, but pretty close. Matter of fact, the funny part is, even with COVID, it doesn't even really have that big of a drop. But it goes from 48. They say today it's at 38. Okay? Now, again, I don't know what the 48 and the 38 mean, right? Because they make it up, right? I'm sure based off of $100 or something like that. But essentially, for all practical purposes, over the last 12 years, they're saying your money, your buying power has fallen 21%. And, of course, right? Oh, we'd like 2% inflation a year. Well, you're pretty close. And this is why you need to put metals away. And I use the example all the time. Go back to the 1930, before 33, or the 20s or 1900, and pretend that, your great-great-grandparents bought a home. Okay, so in the 1900, let's say. And they put 5 $20 gold pieces and 5 $20 bills into a little tin and put it in the wall. And they didn't tell anybody. Right? It was nobody's business. And when they time went by, they got old, whatever, they didn't tell anybody. Then your grandparents took over the house and your parents. Now you've got it. And you've seen the first time flippers on TV. You're like, I can do that. Right? Your wife's like, please just hire somebody. You're like, no, I can do it. It's COVID. Everybody's going to Lowe's and Home Depot to do it yourself. I'll just watch a YouTube video. I can do it. And you take the sledgehammer and you start smashing out the drywall and you find this tin. And it must have been sealed airtight because the money hasn't disintegrated. You found $100 if you found the cash. Right? You're like, oh, sweet, honey. We can go to a average restaurant and maybe have dinner, and a bottle of wine. Nothing too fancy, right? We're not going to Morton's on the $100. But those gold pieces, now you got $10,000. That's what the Fed has done. They turned $100 into $10,000, not in a good way. Right? You need $10,000 today to what you could have bought with $100 10 years ago. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. You a fan of Austin Powers? You ever see the Austin Powers movies? I love those. And Austin Powers, Dr. Evil, was frozen in space. And he was gone for several decades while he was frozen in space. And when he comes back, and he's trying to hold the United States ransom, and he says that he wants $1 million. And everybody starts laughing. $1 million, that's nothing. What $1 million? Of course, 30 years ago, $1 million, that was a lot of money. And now we can't even get the truth out of these people. The dollar buys the least amount ever in history. And think about where we're heading. We're on steroids now, right? We're dead addicts. We know the effects of drugs, heroin and crack cocaine and whatever, alcoholism. We've all seen it. We all know people. It's sad. That's us. That's this country right now. Why? Because we want to live in denial. And we put bankers in charge that allow us to do it. Jenny, I just can't think of anything else to do. Just keep spending money. And this is why you're seeing the dollar, the demise of the dollar. This is why you're seeing everybody talk about getting into gold and silver, and everybody's doing it. By the way, here you go. Silver demand. Remember yesterday we were talking about gold and silver. This is not a short squeeze. It's not a short squeeze. Short squeeze just implies, hey, we've got an opportunity because too many people are short. We can go long and force it. We don't want that. This is a physical squeeze. You don't believe me? According to the latest, the Silver Institute reported yesterday that demand for physical silver reached more than 1 billion ounces in 2020. Rising more than 11%. Physical investment alone is projected to reach a new high this year of 257 million ounces, as the entire world seemingly is demanding gold or silver coins and bars. Silver jewelry demand is looking to recover. So jewelry demand, obviously, wasn't great. But remember with the number I gave you, over 1 billion ounces. In 2021, they're expecting it to go even higher. Industrial demand is expected to rise to more than 510 million ounces in 2021. That's 9% more than 2020. So let's kind of look at what we're talking about here. The two biggest demands for silver: industrial investment. Right, that makes up 3/4, a little more of all the silver demand out there. Silver demand as an investment form, casual number, up 100%. Right? That's probably what we're looking at for 2021. And now they're saying industrial demand is going to be up, 9-10%? And they're saying, oh, wait, jewelry demand, when you throw jewelry demand in there, that's most of all the demand. They're saying they expect a recovery there. And so now they're saying that the silver mine supply is only expected to be 866 million ounces. Well, wait a minute. Let me get a a calculator out. They're saying 510 million ounces in industrial demand, 257 million in investment demand. Already, that's 767 million ounces. And they're saying that the whole mine supply is only going to be 866. And, oh, by the way, jewelry demand, they're anticipating to be somewhere around 200 to 250 million ounces. Just using a small number. They're expecting overall silver demand in 2021 to be well over 1 billion ounces. But the mine supply is only going to be 866 million. That's all you need to know. This is a physical squeeze. Be ready. A lot of people, and it wasn't me, and I wish it had been me. I should have seen it. Are liking this very much to what we saw in rhodium and what we saw in palladium. And both the gold and the silver markets, Indian gold demand, by the way, Indian gold imports, that number came out for January, doubled from last January. Yeah, hello. Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm going to give you the specials when we get back. Be ready to dial. Okay, we got to go quick. I took way too much time talking. It's already the final segment. I apologize. I've got two different items. Well, actually, I got more than that. But I've got here in Arizona, I've got 5 sheets of 1 ounce silver bars. These are Johnson Matthey bars. There's 20 in a sheet, so they're they're plastic sheets. I mean, they look brand new. They're not, but they look brand new. I've got 5 sheets. There's 20 1-ounce silver bars in each. You got to buy the whole sheet. It's $640, and I've got 5 of them. If you're in Arizona and you want to pick them up, no shipping. Anywhere else, you got to pay $35 to ship it because it's silver and it's expensive to ship. And even if you want to pick it up in Colorado, you got to do that. In Colorado, I've got 20 2+ ounces. It's actually more than 2 ounces. Silver bars. These were minted in 1971. The Franklin Mint did a series. And they had all these different states, and each one of these bars has a bank on them. And it's so funny. Jason was going through these banks. They're all out of business now, but they're kind of fun. These are it's sterling silver. There's a math to it, but just take our word for it. Over 2 ounces of silver. I've got 20 of those bars. Super cool, by the way. And those are $75 a bar at 800-951-0592. And then a really incredible opportunity in junk silver this morning. This was an estate. I've been working with these people since last year. This has been tied up in the courts. You got squabbling relatives. I wired the money this morning. The judge has made his ruling, and I had to wire it into this, escrow account. But I've got 6 bags, and this is junk silver. I don't know what it is. It could be quarters, it could be dimes, it could be halves. I don't know. But they are 6 full bags. We are the cheapest in the country by thousands of dollars. These 6 bags, $25,500. delivered. And that puts us, and you know all these cheap online guys, about $3,000 to $5,000 less than anybody else in the country. And this was kind of a unique thing, so take advantage of that. This is not where I've been getting. This is a whole different deal. And then also, I've got Silver Eagles up on the website. Nobody buy any. Wait until Wednesday of next week. I deal a lot with estates. I got another estate. I may have a great opportunity in Silver Eagle. Not as great as this one, but in Silver Eagles next week. So be ready for that. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. God bless everybody. Hey, here's the great news. Tomorrow's Friday.